Chicago's socialism circus is officially collapsing. I am Brandon Tucker. This is Defiant Brandon. Welcome back to Accountability. We definitely have to get into this. 1,500 teachers and educators in Chicago, the new socialist mecca, where everything is going to be low cost or no cost because the rich are going to pay their fair share, has announced that they will be laying off 1,500 educators to deal with a budget deficit. Toxic empathy. People who have compassion and they need to help their neighbors by allowing them to invade our country are now telling the teachers of Chicago, the people responsible for educating our children, hey, look, sorry, can't help you. You're getting laid off. We have no money to pay you. As they prioritize undocumented migrants over our future, the future of America. I remember a song called "The Children Are Our Future," featured in the movie Coming to America. And many people really believe that. But the truth is, when it comes to the Democrat Party, undocumented migrants are the future. Well, at least that's the future that they prefer. Let's get right into this.
Chicago Public Schools is facing a painful math problem. They've got a $732 million budget gap, and now leaders are proposing some major staff cuts, more than 700 teachers and more than 800 paraprofessionals. NBC5's Randy Gyllenhaal live tonight at CPS headquarters with what this could mean for students when classes start back up in the fall. Randy?
Well, Stefan, as you mentioned, Chicago Public Schools working to close that massive budget deficit. They additionally have billions of dollars in long-term debt as well. However, the teachers union here in Chicago is calling the layoffs reckless.
Every impact hurts. These are real people.
In a virtual presentation announcing the cut down budget, Chicago Public Schools said more than 1,000 teachers and staff will not be brought back in the coming year.
This process is painful for everyone all the way around.
School CEO Dr. Macklin King said cost cutting is underway, freezes and efficiencies, plus 5 furlough days added for teachers. By the numbers, it's nearly a $10 billion budget, but CPS is $9 billion in debt. This budget adds no new debt, but 760 teachers would be laid off and about 800 paraprofessionals, some of them could be brought back.
We anticipate that the majority of these teachers and ESP, education support personnel, will be rehired in the district, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that that happens.
But the Chicago Teachers Union, in a letter to the district, calling the budget dead on arrival, though some teachers already got notice.
I've seen people starting to post already that they've lost their positions. I've seen quite a few special education teachers.
Talking about college and career coaches, just today I heard of a dance teacher on the west side who was let go.
CTU says they want state lawmakers to step in Springfield with more funding to avert drastic cuts.
We know that there's been talk about special sessions for data centers, for sports teams. I think it's time for the biggest mega project to be fully funding our schools, fully supporting our school communities.
Well, the next step here, the budget will go through some public hearings with a vote possible in front of the school board July 30th. Stefan?
Randy Gyllenhaal in the loop tonight. Randy, thank you so much.
Okay, so let's talk about what's going on in Chicago, because we hear this stuff about socialism. We're going to tax the rich. The rich are going to pay their fair share. You know, all the nonsense that they say to get ignorant people who don't do research to vote for them, right? So here's the problem. Here's the numbers, right? Let's talk about the receipts, okay? The city basically needs $732 million to pay these teachers, right? The city just a year ago, 2 years ago, spent $2.5 billion. Now they need $732 million, but they spent $2.5 billion providing free housing, free food, free health care, and free child care to undocumented migrants. You remember the Biden administration let 20 million undocumented people invade our country, and they sent those people into the major cities of America to displace certain marginalized communities, right? Now, they're going to throw this, oh, it's a $10 billion budget, all this mess at you. So you won't associate the $2.5 billion that they spent on illegal immigrants with what's going on with the teachers. But they don't need $10 billion to keep these 1,500 educators employed. They only need $732 million. So initially, Chicago spent, I think, about $532 million on the illegal, the undocumented migrants. But then the state of Illinois stepped in and they put up another $2 billion. They gave Chicago $2 billion. JB Pritzker and them boys, they said, look, we want you to help the undocumented migrants, right? So they gave them that money. Now let me put this latest at your feet. When it came to providing money to house criminal illegals, right? The state of Illinois stepped in. They said, we're not going to let their feet touch the ground. We're going to make sure that they get to stay in 5-star hotels. They said, we're going to make sure that they have the best that money can buy. We're going to make sure that they don't have to eat shelter food. We're going to give them $12,000 on the EBT card so they could go eat the finest cuisine that this country has to offer. And here's the catch. The dumbass teachers fought for that. The teachers union of Chicago fought to allocate state and city funds to undocumented migrants. Instead of deporting them and sending them or turning them over to ICE, which is what they should have done, they said, no, we're going to pay. We're going to pay for them to be here. Now, the same teachers that fought for the undocumented migrants to stay and for their children to have a better life than many of our children can have, they're literally losing their jobs because the city has no money to pay them. This is the literal definition. This is probably one of the best examples of toxic empathy I've ever seen in my life. And now, what happened to tax the rich? What happened to the billionaires are going to pay their fair share? What happened to that? Go over there to the billionaire and go get the money. We got to pay the teachers. Go get the money. I'll give you a better, this is not a replay. I'll give you a better question. Why can't all the people who the teachers sold themselves out to help, why can't they take up a collection to raise the money so that the teachers can be employed? Why isn't the Hispanic population of Little Village the ones who fought tooth and nail to get the undocumented migrants money for free housing, free health care, free food, and free everything else? Why aren't they now in City Hall fighting against the council to get the $732 million that's needed to keep these teachers employed. If I said it once, I'll say it again. The Democrat Party does not care about America, but they damn sure don't care about Black people, because the same Black people that stood up to defend undocumented migrants and, oh, no one's illegal on stolen land and all this stuff, they are now losing their jobs, which means many of them will lose their homes. Their children will not have the things they need. They will probably have to move away from Chicago to find another job. They're losing everything after they fought to give charity to people who never invested anything into this country. Let's be real. Let's be real. Here we go. I love it. I was waiting for it. You think the Trump regime, what does Trump have to do with this? This is all these people. Is you bringing up Trump going to get these teachers their jobs back? Ask yourself that question. Is you bringing up Trump going to get these teachers their jobs back? I've said it once, and I will say it again, and I hope you clip this, and I hope you repeat it. Clip this part right here. The Black female is the number one stooge for the Democrat Party. The Black liberal female is the number one stooge for the Democrat Party. She will fight tooth and nail for whatever legislation or horrible idea the Democrat Party presents to her. And then she will be the number one person that is negatively affected when the Democrats make it very clear, you are no longer the belle of the ball. You are no longer our priority. As a matter of fact, thank you very much for everything you did to get us to this point. But now we're going to lay you off and take your job away from you so you can't feed your children. And we did it all in the name of hedging our bet on the people we believe will be our new voter base, the undocumented migrant who they seek to give amnesty at some point in the near future, creating a voter bloc that, along with the liberal blue-haired freaks and lunatics, will be absolutely unbeatable. Much like the way they did in California, much like the way they've done in New York and other liberal cities and states. They're trying to make the country look like blue states. That's what they're trying to do. Why would you fight to allocate $2.5 billion to people who have never invested a single thing into this country? They literally had just got here at the cost of your children in inner cities who already can't read at grade level, who already can't write at grade level, who already can't do math at grade level, not having the resources they need to get an education. And why is the Black woman the number one stooge fall guy for these people every single time? Why is the Black woman the number one fall guy for these people every single time? And someone's asking, hey, is this a replay? Because I briefly touched on this last night, but it pissed me off so bad. I wanted to get up this morning. I had to get up this morning and cover it again. It makes no damn sense. These people are like, we got to have compassion. We got to love our neighbor. Listen. I have compassion. I love my neighbor. But I have compassion for the right people, our children. You want to sell out your child's future for a grown-ass, military-aged, undocumented migrant who just got released from a prison or a mental institution down in Venezuela, who's been gaslit to come into this country illegally by the barely even alive former ex-president Joe Biden and the Democrats who are seeking to weaponize his or her presence against the people who love this country. If you want to have compassion for these little kids. And if you need them to be black, have compassion for these little black kids who already got to walk through a war zone just to get to school. And now when they get to school, they're going to say, sorry, little Timmy, we don't have the resources you need because we spent all the money on Pedro, Encarnacion, and Guadalupe, people who shouldn't even have been in this country. We can't give you the $732 million that you need so that you can learn and not end up a statistic out here smoking crack or super meth or selling it on one of these whole strolls. We can't give you the resources you need because we reallocated your resources, plus all the money we received from COVID funding to a bunch of people who aren't even citizens of this country. And if you defend that, there's something diabolically wrong with you. There's something diabolical. You are evil. These people don't care about our children. They sit up and talk about the Epstein files and the children. They weaponize fake pseudo empathy for children. They weaponize it to trick you into voting against your own best interest, into supporting the suicidal causes and ideologies that these people have grabbed hold of. Where's the money? Where is the money? Why don't our children have what they need? That should be the first priority. Let's make sure the kids got what they need. Then we can worry about all the other stuff. These kids can't get $732 million, but we didn't spend $2.5 billion housing a bunch of illegal immigrants, illegal criminal alien migrants is what the proper term for these people really should be. Understand that. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why do we do this? And this is all being done in the socialist utopias where they told you, hey, look, we're going to give you everything free. So it don't even matter where the money go or where the money come from. We're going to get the rich to pay for everything so everybody will have everything they want. Okay. So based on what Brandon Johnson and them then told us, where's all this? Why haven't the billionaires just stepped up and gave the $732 million to the school? Brandon Johnson is saying, oh, you didn't let me put in my head tax. You didn't let me do this and you didn't let me do that. Bro, these taxes they're never going to work. That's why your whole Democrat city council are against them. These people are doing nothing but destroying America's major cities because they're lying to you and tricking you and duping you into believing that someone's going to foot the bill for every bad idea that they have. We need to call it what it is. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea to let millions, they said it was 53,000 illegal immigrants, but it was way more than that. If you're not documenting them, how do you really know how many of them there are? If they're undocumented, how do you really know how many of them there are? And of course, you'll tell us 53,000 because there's no way for us to know. And the worst part about this, guys, is all of these billions of dollars, right? All of these billions of dollars were given to two non-government NGOs. $2.5 billion from the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois was given to two nonprofit organizations. You didn't even divide it up so you could make sure that there was no waste, fraud, and abuse taking place. They gave it to two NGOs. So you paid them $2.5 billion. They can't turn around and say, well, you know what? That we need the teachers for the kids. We got $2.5 billion, right? we can give 732 million towards the teachers so that they can teach the kids. They'll never do it. Isn't it funny how they talk about socialism and everybody paying their fair share? But when it comes to a budget deficit for the things that our children need or the things we need, socialism goes right out the door. Back to capitalism. It was socialism when they were demanding our taxpayer dollars for the illegal immigrants. Love your neighbor and socialist utopia, and no one's illegal. It was socialism. It was kumbaya at that point. But now that the kids need the teachers and the teachers need the jobs, right? Ain't it funny how ain't nobody trying to cough up no money? Ain't it funny how the Hispanics down in Little Village ain't got nothing to say? Ain't it funny how the NGOs who took the 2.5 billion can't even give back 50 million to at least get us started? Well, look, how many teachers can you keep if we give you back 50 million of what you gave us? Socialism is gone now. Socialism has evaporated into thin air. Understand that. Understand that. These people don't care about you. They use your empathy. They use your sympathy and your quote unquote compassion as a weapon against you. You give it to them thinking that y'all cool in this brotherhood. They take it and they walk away. That's what's going on. And these politicians, they're cool with it because they know that the rhetoric surrounding the topic, toxic empathy, they know that the rhetoric is enough to drive you to the polls. So they'll vote. So you'll vote for them because deep down inside, you're a good person. You want to help people, but you can't help nobody if you can't help yourself. Your children can't be the leaders of this nation going into the future if they can't get a proper education because there's no money and there's no teachers to teach them. There's no resources. So tell me, how did giving 2.5 billion to illegal immigrants help the city of Chicago? Oh, we got more people working at the car wash. Oh, we got more hot dog vendors. Are these the things that cities are built upon and maintained upon with? Oh, we got more guys selling flowers on the side of the freeway. It was a bad investment. It was a bad investment. Period, point blank. Don't start talking about Jesus because Jesus said pay Caesar's things to Caesar and God's things to God. And the law of Caesar said it is illegal to do what they did. Do not start talking about the Bible because the Bible strictly forbids what they did. The Bible strictly forbids what they did. When there was a tithe and offering given, which it was the 10%, the thing upon which all of our taxation is based on, that was supposed to be allocated to the orphans and the widows based on biblical standards. There was never a tithe, a collection, or a tax that was levied to give to a people of another nation. You don't know about the Bible. I used to be a minister. I know deeply. I'm a Bible scholar. You can't tell me anything about taxation in the Bible. The Bible tells you to pay your taxes, but the Bible also gives a clear allocation for the tax money, and not nowhere in it do it say, go take this money and give it to people from another land. Take this money and use it to house, feed, and clothe people from another land that have basically invaded your country. It don't say that. So you can shut that up immediately. Just these people, I'm telling you, whatever they can weaponize against you, whatever they can take and say, oh, we have something in common because we both believe this. They're not doing it because they care about you or they want to be brotherly with you or have camaraderie with you. They're doing it to weaponize it against you. They're doing it so you can lower your guard and trust them. and then they could use it to stab you in the heart with it, like that bloodthirsty Carmelo Anthony.
Wants its budget. Mark, CPS has an almost $1 billion budget hole to fill, and besides layoffs, furloughs, a spending freeze, and more tax increment financing money, known as TIFs, is how the district plans to balance its budget.
Locked up for now, but in about a month, students will return to over 600 Chicago public schools with possibly less staff. To close a $732 million budget deficit, the district is laying off about 760 teachers, 801 teacher aides, and requiring 5 furlough days on non-attendance days for students. The Chicago Teachers Union called the CPS budget proposal dead on arrival.
What I can say is that this process is painful for everyone all the way around. And I understand how people, especially CTU with, their members being impacted, might feel that way.
Now look, one thing I know is that this Black woman didn't sell socialism to the people of Chicago. Another thing I know is that this Black woman didn't sign the documentation to hand over $2.5 billion of city and state funds over to illegal immigrants. I said it before. The Black woman is the fall guy for the Democrat Party. She is the stooge for the Democrat Party. Why isn't Brandon Johnson sitting up here telling you how he doesn't have the money to pay your kid's teacher because he gave the money to illegal immigrants? Why isn't JB Pritzker sitting up on here telling you, hey, we don't have the money to pay the teachers because we tricked you into having toxic, we basically weaponized your empathy against you and tricked you into giving your taxpayer dollars to a bunch of people you never met, you don't know, and who have never invested a single thing into this country. So now we don't have any more of your tax dollars to give to the teachers who teach your children every day. So now in a school system where the kids can't read already, a school system where the kids can't write already, the kids are lucky to make it to school because they got to go through a hell of bullets just to get to the damn campus. Now they're going to go into crowded classrooms. They're not going to be able to get the individual attention that they need. They're basically going to be struggling. And I'm telling you, it's one thing to be broke and struggling because you just don't have the money and you never had the money. But it's a whole nother thing to have had the money and squandered the money foolishly and now be struggling in a situation that you never had to be in. Why is this Black woman in front of this camera telling everybody it's hard all around for everybody? It ain't hard for the illegal immigrants. They were staying in luxury hotels. Your child's education was thrown down the toilet. So someone who doesn't even belong here could live in a 5-star hotel and eat fine dining and receive free health care. That's what this all boils down to.
CPS CEO Dr. Macklin King says if CPS receives additional money from the city, state, or federal government, furloughs will be restored.
Now they want more money. They done already wasted money, but now they want more money. What happened to socialism? This is all I'm telling the socialist people. If you're going to do socialism and they're going to sell you on this idea that you're going to get all this free stuff, can you at least get your free stuff first before you let them convince you to give anybody anything? I'm from California. If I go to Chicago, don't give me nothing. I want you to get everything for free that they promised you before they say anything about giving me something. But the reality is they're using your empathy to steal from you, because who owns the 2 companies? Just 2. There's probably thousands of companies that do this. There's probably thousands of companies that do this, but they gave $2.5 billion to 2 companies. Don't the city got city-run shelters? Couldn't the state open up a shelter for these people to make sure? No, if the state did it, the politicians who vote for the bad policy wouldn't be able to create companies that the money is allocated to so they could steal off the top. That's what this is all about.
But we would want to prioritize the furlough days, but have to leave flexibility.
And the layoffs are due partly to CPS reducing its student-to-teacher ratio by 1. The rest are principals' discretion based on shifting needs of their schools.
A lot of these are like local personnel decisions, and they're driven by programmatic need. They're driven by enrollment at the school. If the school doesn't need 3 fourth grade classrooms, they only need 2.
CPS says many of the laid-off teachers will likely be rehired, something CTU disputes.
Unfortunately, when our teachers are laid off, a lot of them leave our district because people need
course.
job security. And not having that job security and instability causes them to leave the profession.
The budget also calls for a mid-year spending freeze, no funding for assistant principals at schools with enrollment under 250 students, and 162 layoffs at the district central office, which were made public earlier this week. But the budget is not all about cuts. CPS plans to increase funding for bilingual and special education educators.
See, they're getting you again. They're going to lay off the teachers who teach your kids English and how to read in English that your kid can't read. They're illiterate. But while they're laying you off, they're going to be hiring who? Bilingual teachers. They're going to be hiring bilingual teachers and bilingual special ed teachers. What is that telling you? Who's bilingual children? Whose children? Who's ESL? English as a second language children. Do you think they're hiring bilingual teachers to teach? Let's listen to that part again.
For bilingual and special education, CPS plans 162 layoffs at the district central office, which were made public earlier this week. But the budget is not all about cuts. CPS plans to increase funding for bilingual and special education educators.
So the black people in Chicago, just tell me how this is benefiting you. Oh, Chicago, Chocolate City, we got all the black and we run. How is this benefiting you? I'll wait. How is this benefiting you? Your kids now get less resources so that they can increase resources for bilingual children. And we all know that these are the bilingual children of the undocumented migrants who are allowed to invade this country under Joe Biden. We know that. These little citizens, because a lot of them probably was born here, right? And there will be more who are being born and will go into the school. But guess what? I can guarantee you that most of those bilingual educators, I bet you they're not black. So now the black teacher gets laid off. She don't got a job no more. Damn how she feed her kids, so that we can hire the Hispanic teacher, right? So that they can teach the new crop of ESL students who are coming into Chicago's public school system. Black folks in Chicago, y'all losing, coming and going. How is being Democrat benefiting you? I'm waiting, because your mayor's black. He knows exactly what's going on because he came out of the teachers union. That's what he was doing. That's where he worked, right? He knows exactly what's happening. So they let a population into the country, right? That's what they wanted to do. Now they have to not only have jobs for this population, they also need to educate the children of this population. So someone's got to pay for all that, right? They tricked you. Vote for this guy, Brandon Johnson, because he's going to make the rich pay for it, right? But the minute you vote, and he looked like you, so you can trust that he's going to do the right thing for your community, right? But it's funny how when he got elected, he didn't do the right thing for your community. It's funny how everything they said was going to happen never happened. But everything we told you was going to happen, it actually happened. You elected Brandon Johnson because, you racist. He one of us, right? You voting for people just because they black. He one of us. You voted for one of us, but you're losing. You're losing. The black women who are teachers, they lost their job. The black children have lost resources in their community, and those resources have been stripped from them and redirected at another group of people whose parents ain't paid a lick of tax in this country. Hell, they was getting free money from the government, from the city government. So even whatever little sales tax they paid was really paid by the tax dollar. Imagine being tricked into funding your own replacement. And they told you that the great replacement theory was a white supremacist talking point. I don't know about y'all, but this do seem a lot like replacement to me.
Budget that we have presented is one that does its absolute best to address the very diverse needs of our students. And so we center this budget around the students and the needs that they have in this given moment.
In addition, the CPS budget maintains funding for CPS crossing guards and safe passage workers. Public hearings will be held during the next couple weeks. CPS is hoping the school board will vote and pass the budget during its July 30th meeting. Mark, back to you.
All right. Thank you very much.
And it's something intentional, because I would rather you fire a crossing guard before you fire a teacher. Because I can help my own kid cross the street. We could put lights and barriers. We could literally block off the street while school is in session so no cars can hit the kids. The crossing guard is of less importance than the teacher. But it's not that they're getting rid of these teachers purely because they don't have the money. They're getting rid of these teachers because this is a orchestrated and planned replacement of you for people who can better serve the population of undocumented migrants that these people let in this country. I'll ask you one more time. Why are you still voting Democrat? I'll ask you one more time. Black women, black men, black children don't vote. But I bet if you explain this to them, they would vote, and they would probably vote conservative. Why are you still voting Democrat? Why are you still out here screaming about some damn democratic socialism? Because the democratic socialist ain't doing nothing for you. He's sitting in there looking stupid, mad, and pissy because the Democrat city council will not allow him to drive corporations out of the city, which is what he wants to do. He won't even speak on the situation. He won't even speak on the situation. Yo, 3-Man Podcast. Thank you so much, my brother. Support, salute. In California, are they really teaching kids slang for English? They were doing that, but I believe they stopped. They were doing that, but I believe they stopped. I think they're trying to move back towards phonics, which is what we all learned how we all learned how to read. Because California gets embarrassed when Louisiana and Mississippi and southern states have better reading scores than we do. So I think they're moving back to the traditional system. But these people, we're progressive. We got to make progress. Guys, in order for you to make progress, you have to know how to recognize, what progress looks like. It doesn't mean you just adopt any old bad idea and throw it at the wall and see if it works. It sticks. These people are ideologues. These people are ideologues. Let's be real. Now, am I going to say like Cruz Diaz? Shout out to Cruz. Am I going to say these people are domestic terrorists? I'm not going to say the illegal migrants are domestic terrorists. The Democrat Party is domestic terrorists. Guys, you literally had no need to do what they did in Chicago. There was no need to do that. You could do like what we used to do. Back in the day when California needed people to come work in the shipyards, when the Navy was here, they recruited people from southern states to migrate here to work in the shipyards. You have millions of people in states all over the country who need work. They'll come here to work. But here's the problem. You have to make the environment conducive to them being able to come here, afford a place to live, and go down to work. But we don't want to do that. States like California, Illinois, they want to keep these ridiculous prices for housing, this high tax rate. So what they have to do is they have to recruit from the third world, because those are people who are used to struggling. Those are people who don't mind living 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 to a home. So they need to recruit people with lower standards for living, lower standards for eating, lower standards for education, so that they can come in the city, and whatever little crumbs or bones the state and city government throw at them, they feel excited about it. Hey, this is way better than what I had where I came from. We don't want to do right by Americans. So we recruit from the third world. And people will be hollering, we need a raise on the minimum wage. They was just talking about that in Chicago. How are you going to get a raise on the minimum wage when you're letting people come into your country, to your state and into your city, who are happy to work for even less than what you're making now? And they can still afford the things they need because they'll live in, 10 to a house. They don't care. Trust me, California is ground zero for all this. These states are trying to be what California already is. And let me tell you, everything that happens in California is going to happen in Chicago. It's going to get to the point where blacks can't even get hired at good paying jobs, because that's the way it is in California. It's going to get to the point where you're going to have all these racial discrimination suits against the state. And it's going to be not white versus black. It's going to be black versus Hispanic, or white versus Hispanic, or Asian versus Hispanic. It's already happening here. They just settled a multi-million-dollar lawsuit in California with a black dude who was a welder or something like that. He brought his son to work with him, got him hired. They were over here racially disparaging him and his son. The man was crying and was like, I hate that my son had to see that. And the man said he had been putting up with it for years. But when they saw him do it to his son, he couldn't take it no more. And he filed a lawsuit. This is not the way to do it. This is not the way to build and grow America. This might be the way to build and grow a lazy ass political party that don't want to do right by its supporters. It might be a way to do that, but this is not how you build and grow America. It's just not. This ain't it, as they say. Shout out to my brother 3-Man Podcast. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, right? And I don't want to get this twisted. I have nothing against Hispanic people. If you're an American, you're a citizen, Mexican, whatever, I don't care. You're like a brother to me, in the sense that, nationalistically speaking, we have the same interest, which is to protect our country. Now, it's sad that some of these people sympathize and empathize with illegal immigrants who really shouldn't even be coming in this country, illegally. It's sad that they value these people more than they value their fellow Americans. Because I'm going to say the same thing about a Haitian or an African who come over here illegally. I've done whole shows on it. But we have to look at what we have. We have to look at the standard that we have become accustomed to. And we need to raise that standard so that people can rise to the occasion. We don't need to lower that standard so we can keep cheap slave labor. You guys say you hate the corporations, and the corporations, well, then why bring a bunch of illegals in, which helps the corporations because they want people who they can pay little to nothing. Everything, you have to think through every action. You have to think it through. And a lot of people in our country don't do that. And that's probably why that's probably why they're actively trying to create a situation where our kids are illiterate and don't have critical thinking skills. Because once you think on this when you apply critical thinking to this, you quickly see this is not helping me. This is not even helping the person from the third world country coming here to take a job or to take my place, or to have their kids take my kid's place at the school. This is hurting everybody all around. Understand, this is hurting everybody all around. Even the undocumented migrants aren't really benefiting because they get abused. They get underpaid. They struggle. They're on the margins. They have to, because when they come in to work for the crumbs, right? That means they're going to have to seek government assistance. So now you have strain being placed on two resource engines within the same political arena, within the same economic system. Yeah, they're working for cheap, but they're at the food stamp office too because they can't feed their kids. They basically get put in the same position you're in. But the difference is now it's just more people trying to fight for the same amount of resources. And you're like, and their answer is, we'll just tax the rich. Bro, if you take, let me tell you, I'm gonna give you this stat again. I've given it to you guys a billion times. If you take every single penny from the rich, including their stocks, bonds, all that, if you take every single penny from the rich in this country, you will have $8.1 trillion. And that money will be gone in 2 years. The rich ain't as rich as you think. The benefit of the rich is that the rich are growing the pie larger because they're investing back into the economy, right? And that allows the economy to grow. And that provides more pie for everybody to try to get some of. That's the only benefit of the rich. That's how they benefit us. But if you take all their money, it wouldn't be enough to support this country for 2 years. The poor are still, we are driving the economy because we trade our labor for representative value, which is money, right? We're still the drivers of the economy, right? The rich do very well at paying the lion's share of the taxes so we can have more of our money to spend, which drives the economy. But this idea that you're going to take everything from the rich and it's going to fix everything, it's not. It will break everything even more. And the people who keep telling you this, they know that this is the case. But they know you won't do enough research so that you can see the truth for what it is. This lady is a doctor. No, sir. You ain't no damn doctor. You's a damn fool. That's what you is. People, unless you're agreeing with me. If you're saying no, sir, like you're agreeing with me, I love you, Dr. Sunshine. I just get a lot of deranged liberals up in here who be tripping. And I'm like, bro, we all have Beyonce's internet, bro. We can all look this stuff up. But people just refuse. They're viciously opposed to facts. That's the problem. People are viciously opposed to facts. So what do you do with that? How does that help you? It doesn't help you. It hurts you. It actually destroys you. And it destroys your country. Now, guys, look, we could end it now here. And I could clip this up and disseminate it throughout the day, but I don't have anything to do right now. So I'm going to let you guys decide. Do you guys want to cover a couple of more stories? Because there's some other stuff. 3-Man Podcast said, this is Trump's internet, boy. We could cover some other stories, or we could just end it right here. But we got socialism, because socialism, I'm very much against socialism, because I know it doesn't work. But we got Zoran Mamdani. His rent freeze is backfiring on him. People are leaving New York in record numbers. They're out of here. Also, you have Zoran. You know, he tried to steal people's homes and steal people's apartments, but that's backfiring now. We also have LA Mayor Karen Bass, you know, another DSA, Democrat, Socialist, Communist. She's just a failure. She's just a failure. Or we could talk about Trump's election fraud scam last night and how none of the mainstream news media outlets wanted to cover it. But I'll let you guys decide. I'll give you 30 seconds while I read this super chat. Tell me which way we going this morning. Because now that I'm doing this in the morning, this is becoming a morning show. And a morning show ain't fun unless the people listening to the show have some type of say. I want the people to have some type of say. So what say you? What do you want to talk about next? My boy is in the building, blessing me with another super chat. The fact you don't have at least 300 watching shows the complete dumb down of the Black community. Salute. Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Ed, what I have to be accountable. It's because something I did. Because just last week, I did have 300 people watching. And I had more than that. I had 5. Last week, my live streams was doing 78K. Last week we was up. Then I talked about some stuff and I used some very coarse language and they hit me with a flag. And ever since I got hit with that flag, my numbers have been in the toilet. But just this week. But it don't matter. If you do YouTube or social media, it's par for the course. You get used to it. So you just, you got to put your head down and grind through. It's a benefit to y'all because when we try to bring our channels back up to where they were, you guys get more content. And we dig a little deeper when it comes to our professionalism and how we present the content. But thank you, my brother. I appreciate it, Mr. Edward. But definitely when you're on a downturn, the super chats do help. Because when you're on a downturn, you're not getting as much ad revenue, right? So the super chats are a blessing. And I appreciate you. And also, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. If you hit the like button, that helps the reach of this video. If you hit the like button, that helps the reach of this video. So I appreciate that. You might not be in a position to donate, right? But at least if you do that, it's a blessing. And it helps the reach. And I'm realizing too now that in the vertical format, when I put a super chat up, it covers my face. Not the face. Not the face. Okay. All right, y'all. So y'all didn't say nothing. Let me see. Y'all didn't say nothing about what y'all want to discuss. But y'all still here. So that means y'all want me to pick. All right, if we're going to discuss if I'm going to pick, I want to criticize my friend, but I'm not going to criticize him because he said some crazy stuff that I was like, what? but whatever. Okay, so let's talk about how do y'all feel about Trump's speech last night? How do you guys feel about Trump's speech last night? Do you guys think that, his speech last night was something that was needed? Or do you feel like, shout out to the new member in the building, Mr. Edward, new member. Yes, sir. Dang, I don't have my things. Wait, let me see if I still got my thing. Dang, I don't have it no more. I used to have a little media asset that I used to play when people would become members. I don't have it. Let me see. No, I don't got it no more. Doggone. What is this? Okay. Dang, I thought I still had it. Well, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you so much. You're great. You're great. Let's just play this. No, I can't play that. I can't play the Mr. Bojangles. That used to be good, right? Let's reset. We're gonna go to the next topic. up, everybody? Welcome to the first installment of the Pan-Africanism Strikes Back. I want to take this opportunity to explain. I want to take Okay, we are back. If you watched that, which you probably didn't, you see I've been all over the place. I done been around the world tonight. Yeah. So I do a lot of research. I go a lot of places. I've traveled a lot. And so that helped formulate my opinion on everything that I discuss. I'm not just someone up here just randomly spouting things with zero frame of reference. But right now, I saw a video about the top takeaways from Trump's election rigging speech last night. And I watched the whole thing. I actually played it on here. And what was said isn't even, what I really want to discuss. What I really want to discuss is the fact that there are mainstream media outlets that are like, we're just not going to cover a national address. The president wants to speak to the nation. But because we don't agree with what the president is saying, even though it's something that all political parties have said for years, we're not going to show that to the people who watch this station. And it only reinforces what I've been saying for years about the mainstream media. These people want the power to decide who runs America. That's what they're doing. The Joe Biden experiment, as I like to call it, that was collusion between the mainstream media and the Democrat Party. Now, mind you, mainstream media is privately owned media corporations. When the Democrat Party colluded with mainstream media to try to silence Trump and deplatform Trump and people who supported Donald Trump, that was fascism. If you know anything about fascism, which most people don't, fascism is collusion between corporations and the government. That in 90% of the time, it hurts the people. When they deplatform Trump from Twitter, but let Biden stay on Twitter, when they and this has all been proven, when they purposely suppressed posts and articles that spoke of Trump in a positive way, when the media gave Donald Trump 95% negative coverage to the benefit of the Democrat Party, that is collusion. That is fascism. That is government collusion with privately owned companies to purposely deceive, mislead, or withhold information from the people. That is the textbook example of fascism. But we know when it comes to these people, everything they say you're doing, they're doing it. Don't nobody think somebody's stealing from them more than a thief. It's the person in the store who got a basket full of groceries, but they didn't stuck a bunch of shit in their purse. That's the person who's going to argue over a $2 discrepancy the hardest at the register, because their mind is criminal. They think everyone else is a criminal. They think everyone else is thinking like them because they're trying to get over on everybody. They think everybody's trying to get over on them. Understand, right? So how do media companies who are responsible for disseminating information to the people, whether they agree with it or not, right? Because they clearly don't mind lying. That's why they have shows like The View, Meet the Press, Abby Phillip, right? Shows where these so-called media companies perpetuate blatant lies and narratives, and then try to position it as if it's real journalism. But how do they decide that they're just not going to play it? Much in the way they tried to do when Donald Trump was talking about his response to COVID. The media adopted this narrative that Trump mishandled COVID. He didn't do well with COVID. Obviously, they were in collusion with the CCP and the Democrat Party. So they said, well, when he tries to give examples of what he actually did to address COVID, we're just not going to play it. We're not going to let people see it. Why do they get to decide what we see and what we don't see? I really wish Trump would strip their licenses from them. I really do. You don't disrespect our nation, and you don't disrespect our president. You let them see what he has to say, and then you let the public do the research and come to a conclusion on it. But then they'll try to make money on it.
4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far.
The nation's capital in the spotlight in primetime. President Trump delivering his State of the Union address to Congress in his first of his second term in office. Now, the president, you just heard there, declaring that the nation is back. He's touting his administration's border security. I want to bring in NBC 10 political commentator Sue O'Connell. Sue, thanks for staying up late with us tonight.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, so you said in the newsroom that this was an important State of the Union. Of course, you got the midterms in November. There are a number of Republicans all across the country that are in a pretty precarious spot. Let me play this exchange the president had with Democrats.
Guys, I have the wrong freaking video up. I'm so sorry, guys. Man, hold on. I'm tripping. This is why I use X. Bear with me. Don't leave me, girl. And you know what's funny? His first statement in the State of the Union 4 months ago, it sounded just like his first statement in last night's national address. And a lot of what he said was stuff that he said months ago. So I don't understand why the stuff is okay to be aired in the State of the Union address, but then last night it's not okay to be aired. Man, if you still are believing these mainstream media companies, you're a fool. These people are trying to manipulate you every way they can. Every single way they can. Let's do National Desk. Her voice is high-pitched as hell. Let's go.
The National News Desk, America's News Now. Good evening, I'm Dee Dee Gatton. As we come back on the air, we continue our team coverage of the president's address tonight. Ryan Smith at the live desk with the reaction that is flooding in following President Trump's primetime address. Then China interfering in the U.S. AI race. Jeff Harris digs into the latest accusations coming from Silicon Valley. But first, we go to national correspondent Kayla Gaskins with the key moments from President Trump's address tonight. Kayla, the president, speaking for about half an hour, making election interference claims, saying China's exploited Americans' personal data to manipulate the 2020 election. For those just joining, give us a snapshot of some of those key moments tonight.
So, Dee Dee, President Trump announced tonight that the White House is declassifying documents that lay out vulnerabilities in the U.S. election system, revealing new intelligence that he says proves the 2020 election was compromised, mainly by China. Trump alleged that China obtained 220 million voter files and that the CIA suppressed intelligence that China wanted to help swing the election to Joe Biden in 2020. Trump also accused the, quote, deep state of keeping much of this information from him during his first term in office.
This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes and really exposes like levels never thought possible to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you.
And DD, Trump also claimed there are 278,000 non-citizens currently registered to vote in federal elections. And he also pushed for Congress to pass the Save America Act, which would require proof of citizenship to register to vote and would require voters to show ID at the polls.
No country could be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden.
And the president said all of the documents that he referenced during his address tonight can be found on whitehouse.gov.
Yes. So I want to just address this because, you have to be a total idiot to to really push back against what Trump is saying, because all this stuff is already proven. It's already been proven that countries meddle in American elections to decide outcomes. Trump said that China interfered with the election in 2020, right? To help Joe Biden win. And I believe that, because does anyone remember the Chinese virus? Does anyone remember that the Chinese virus was actually what helped Biden win? Right? Isn't that what helped him win? Because Trump 90% of the people you ask, oh, I voted for Biden because Trump mishandled COVID. That was their excuse. Right? But the Democrats in 2016 were saying, well, Russia interfered in the elections to help Trump win. Well, this is what we know. We know that Russia and China are interfering in elections, right? So when Trump says China interfered in the election, why are they denying it when they've admitted that China has gained access to so many millions of so many millions of voter profiles? Why do they need that if they're not trying to interfere in elections? I'm asking this question. Hold on. So, China didn't do that, but Russia did it on behalf of Trump. No, I believe China and Russia did it. I believe China and Russia did it. I just believe that Trump actually was someone who was capable of winning. So when he won, it made sense because he was killing Hillary in every debate and killing Hillary when it came to fundraising, and when it came to going around doing town halls and doing rallies. He was destroying Hillary in doing that. What I don't believe is that Joe Biden from his basement doing car rally speeches where everyone gets to sit in their car and honk at him. Right? I don't believe Biden did enough to win the election in 2020 on his own. And I don't think anyone believes that. I think every American has the same opinion on that. Biden was hidden. They use COVID as a way to not have to actually vet Biden in his campaigning. They use COVID to excuse Biden's inability to campaign, because if they would have pushed him too hard, he would have fell apart during the campaign the way that he fell apart during his presidency. That's the whole thing. Hey, can you guys stop with the insults? That's one of the reasons I got flagged too. I have a company that when I get flagged by YouTube, I send them what's going on. I send them everything, and they come back. They use AI to go in and find out exactly why YouTube flagged me. And one of the flags was volatile comments. So if you're putting if you're cursing, oh, Brandon is gay and retarded, I'm gonna delete you. You can insult me all you want to, but don't be using incendiary words. Don't use incendiary words. I'm gonna delete you. Keep it professional. If you had intelligence, you could insult me without, okay, you're still doing it. If you had intelligence, you could insult me without being vulgar and offensive to the algorithm, because you can't offend me. But yeah. So what the Democrats are saying is, well, we're not saying that China hasn't gained access to our voter rolls, but we're saying we don't think they use that to interfere in the election. Hold on, I'm gonna type this in. Have Democrats admitted to China gaining access to voting? Hold on, I wanna pull this up. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I want to show y'all how these people jump through hoops mentally. So look. No, Democrats have not admitted that China gained access to U.S. voting technology or altered vote counts. Instead, Democrat leaders and intelligence officials have forcefully rejected President Trump's recent claims as bogus and misleading, emphasizing that while China may have accessed publicly available voter registration data, there is zero evidence they penetrated voting machines or changed any ballots. Distinction between data and technology. Senator Mark Warner and other Democrats clarified that the intelligence community unanimously agrees China did not try to change a single vote in the 2020 election. They argue that acquiring voter files, which are often public records available for purchase, is fundamentally different from hacking voting infrastructure or tabulation system. Democrat response to allegations. Prominent Democrats, including Jim Hines and Senator Chuck Schumer, accused the president of using these claims to undermine confidence in upcoming elections rather than address actual security vulnerabilities. Now, here's the problem. We know that China has access to the voter information, right? We know that China literally has drawn up plans on how to interfere with United States elections and what they hope to gain by doing so, right? Now, Trump claims that there are 78,000 undocumented people who are registered to vote in certain states, right? The Democrats deny this. But if you deny it, if you say it's not true, why are you refusing to turn over voter rolls to the federal government? Into the CIA and the FBI, to the CIA? That's my question. I mean, not to the CIA, to the federal government, the Attorney General. Why do you refuse to turn over the voter rolls? If there's nobody on the voting rolls that shouldn't be voting, why do you refuse to turn them over? Right here. Numerous blue states have refused to turn over their voter rolls to the federal government and the DOJ, leading to a significant legal conflict with the Trump administration's Department of Justice. Legal action. The DOJ has sued 23 blue states and the District of Columbia for refusing to comply with federal requests for voter registration data, citing the National Voter Registration Act, the Help America Vote Act, and the Civil Rights Act of 1960. So Delaware, Maryland, New Mexico, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington. California is one of them. Oregon, Maryland, Michigan, right? Now let me, I'm gonna make this all come together. Because I know right about now, y'all saying, Brandon, what does this have to do with anything? Right now, this is it. So on one hand, the Democrats are okay with China having access publicly available voter registration data, right? They say, oh, it's totally safe. There's nothing they could do with it. They're okay with China having the voter registration data, right? But then they want to fight the federal government tooth and nail over the same data. They're okay with China having it. Think about that. They're okay with China having it. But they're not okay with the United States government having it. I'm just saying. They're okay with China. Look right here. They're okay. And they're saying, even though China has it, they're not using it to influence elections. But when the federal government comes and says, give it to me, no, we ain't giving it to you. Guys, I don't think that it's any coincidence. The Democrat Party is in collusion with China to steal elections. Because if you weren't, why would you be okay with China having the information that you're trying to keep the federal government from gaining? Think about that. You trust a foreign government with your voter rolls more than you trust the federal government with your voter rolls. Make that make sense. To the point where you're willing to go to court with the federal government. You're willing to go to court with the federal government to keep them from getting this information, but you're willingly turning it over to China. Didi Saracen, look, man, you don't know what you're talking. Didi been in here. He's lying. No one needs to Google it. You could just come right up here, click the link, come right up here, and tell me what to look up so you could prove me wrong. And I'll look it all up for you. I'm telling you. Answer the question. Why is the Democrat Party in blue states okay with China having this information? They have the information, but they're not doing anything wrong with it. But they don't want the federal government to have it. There's collusion taking place here.
Yeah, big announcement about those files, Kayla. The president did also make a brief mention of the midterms. How could what we are hearing tonight impact the midterm elections?
Well, Didi, the speech certainly keeps election integrity at the center of President Trump's midterm message and could help energize MAGA voters. Trump and some Republicans also feel that provisions in the Save America Act, such as voter ID and proof of citizenship to register to vote, are winning issues since polls consistently show broad bipartisan support for those ideas. Trump's critics and even some Republicans running this year, though, worry he's focusing on an issue that isn't at the top of mind for many voters, not at the top of their priority lists. Republicans who are running in especially tight races would rather he spend more time talking about voters' concerns on the economy and inflation, or his policy successes like the tax cuts and the borders, which Didi, he did spend the first 5 minutes of tonight's 26-minute speech on those issues.
Why would you want to keep focusing on the things you're succeeding at? Isn't his job to fix problems? If you've succeeded at fixing a bunch of stuff, why do we need to keep talking about that? At that point, we need to find the other problems and fix them. These rhinos, they're not going at Trump because they really don't want the Save America Act passed. They're going at Trump because they've been incentivized to go at Trump. If you have 85% of Americans across all political divides saying, yes, we want voter ID on all elections. We want ID on all elections. Why is there any person, any representative on Capitol Hill that's going against that? I'm just asking. If you have if 85% of Americans say we want voter ID, why is there any politician that's going against that? They discredit themselves just based on that. We know that you're on the take. We know that you're on the take when you're willing to risk your political career to go against the will of the American people. That's why most of the people that are going against the SAFE Act, they're retiring. They're not seeking re-election. They're not trying to come back. Right? Because they understand, look, I'm probably not going to get elected anyway. Because I'm going against the will of the American people. Why is the Democrat Party going against half of their party, over half their party? Because people are like, we want to win, but we want to feel like our winning is legitimate. And the Democrat Party know that the victories they get are illegitimate. There's always some type of fraud going on. They're always trying to be on the take about something. It's really stupid and it's really pathetic. But I ask people, why are you voting Democrat? They're not doing anything for you. They're not offering you anything for you. The Democrat Party has already abandoned their base. They are betting on, they know they got the liberal freaks who will vote for them no matter what. They know they got the black women who will vote blue no matter who. So they're abandoning that group. They're like, okay, we got them. They're in the bag. Now they're trying to flood the country with illegal immigrants, give them mass amnesty, and then they'll be unbeatable. We'll have to have a civil war to take our country back. And they're okay with that, as long as they can win and get rich and stuff the pockets of all the foreign countries and foreign investors and foreign leaders who they allow to pilfer the coffers of the American taxpayer dollars. That's what they're all about. That's what they're focused on. We need to get the White House back so we can pay all of our international buddies, our international partners. The Democrat Party is very pathetic, if you ask me. They're very pathetic. And you could be an independent and see that. These people don't do anything. I believe in 100%. I know it. I know it for a fact. If it's not true, why are the Democrats going against the Save America Act? Why is it wrong for people to have to show an ID to vote? So we can make sure that no one's doing anything shady to interfere in our elections. 100%. The Democrats want socialism and a one-mind state where everyone thinks the same. The Democrats want America to become China. And I'm saying, if you really look at it, why wouldn't you want America to become China if you're looking at it from a purely, political perspective? There's little to no dissent. The government can do whatever the hell it wants. The people go work in shit conditions for low pay. And the oligarchs and the people at the top get richer and richer every single year. And then you put a little lipstick on the pig like China does, and you're able to fool people into thinking that you have a great country. But we know it's all smoke and mirrors. We know it's all smoke and mirrors. But China doesn't care about what's really going on. They just care about the optics. They just want things to look a certain way. That's all it's about. Ooh, this crazy person. She's nuts. She's nuts. Let's listen to her. Former White House press secretary. Former White House press secretary. Yeah, I don't know, but you can't be putting that in the chat. You have no proof. You have no proof. Let's see.
and other reports
watching
proving that
President
our
Donald
government
Trump
has long
deliver a
known
speech
these
to the
machines
country
are
where you heard him
exposed to attack.
portray an intelligence community that he is portraying as hiding information from him. There is no evidence of that. We're going to talk with somebody who is actually working in the FBI about that. We're also going to talk to Ken Delanian about all of his reporting about the past year. I also just want to know.
Isn't it funny how we're finding out that the intelligence agencies, well, we've always known that intelligence agencies hide things from presidents, right? We know that. We're very aware of that. But isn't it funny how when Donald Trump accuses intelligence agencies of doing things that they've always done, all of a sudden, there's no proof of that. Well, if there was proof, would Jen Psaki have given it to us? They said these are the same people who told you that COVID didn't come from China. Do y'all remember that? These are the same people who told you that COVID didn't come from China. And that Trump was a racist. And he was a xenophobe for stopping flights from China. Am I the only one who remembers that? We know these people are willing to lie to our faces. But they say, believe us, don't believe Trump. Listen, if anything, we won't believe Trump and we won't believe you. How about that? Don't believe Trump because we're believable. You're not believable. You're a bunch of liars. You always lie. And you lie until you get. Guys, listen, in my lifetime, in the past 6 years, there's 2 major lies that the mainstream media constantly told and perpetuated. And then we found out that they were that these things were lies. Can anybody think of those lies, of what they are? I'll give it to you. COVID did not come from China. That was one. And Joe Biden was cognitively fit to be president of the United States. Think about that. These people, Jen Psaki worked for Jen Psaki worked for Biden, right? She worked for Biden. She knew Joe Biden wasn't mentally fit to be president. She worked with Biden every day. Did Jen Psaki ever come out and say, you know what? Biden was in cognitive decline? Did she ever come out and say that? You had Slopodopoulos. He came out with a book talking about how badly Biden's mental decline, how bad Biden's mental decline was. But the same guy was on the news during Biden's presidency saying, no, he's totally fine. He's better than he's ever been. Joe Scarborough actually said the same thing. Joe Scarborough said the same thing. So now, believe us this time. Trump don't know what he's talking about. He lying. He making stuff up. No, bro. We don't believe you. Because we know you lie. We know you lie.
Because I noted this earlier, but the intelligence community under Trump during his first term put out a declassified report. And in it, they said, we have no indications that any foreign actor attempted to alter any technical aspect of the voting process. Again, that's according to a declassified report on the 2020 election from back when John Ratcliffe was the director of national intelligence. Trump is talking in part, and I want to turn to you here, Michael. He's talking in large part here about raw intelligence that can be tips, they can be just calls that come into the FBI. A lot of those are just thrown out, thousands of them, even on a daily basis. Explain to people watching who just heard him kind of portray a universe where the intelligence community is hiding information from him, how this actually works, why raw intelligence wouldn't be even presented to a candidate or put out publicly.
Yeah, so the intelligence community collects easily hundreds of thousands of data points any given day. They collect it from human spies. They collect it from signals intelligence. They collect it from electronic signatures and environmental variables in any given geographic area. And a lot of what they get turns out not to be true. So if I call the CIA or I call the FBI with a tip, there is a record, a documentation of what I said. But that doesn't mean it's been verified. That doesn't mean it's been analyzed. And most importantly, that doesn't mean that it's true. So what we could be seeing happening here is essentially they take all the conspiracy theories that made their way to the intelligence community, were looked at, vetted, found wanting, and therefore jettisoned. And they're declassifying those, but potentially not declassifying the information that disproves it. And we're really at a point where, because of the nature of the individuals heading these agencies, we can't take their words at face value anymore. And to the extent that he's alleging a deep state cover-up, it's really important to note every single thing he is describing happened during his first administration. So if the intelligence community was against him, which I don't believe, having worked in it at the time, and if people were obfuscating what was actually going on or selectively editing the president's daily brief, those were the people he picked and put in.
This guy's a 100% liar. Guys, the intelligence agencies weren't against Trump in his first term. I'll prove that's a lie right now. Didn't they say, didn't intelligence agents say that they tried to say that Trump was colluding with Russia? Didn't 50 intelligent, there was something 50 intelligent officials were saying that ended up being a total damn lie. Look. 50 former intelligence agency. Oh, it was the Hunter Biden laptop situation. Ha! Right? Remember? Oh, Hunter Biden's laptop is Russian disinformation. Remember that? Remember? 50 former intelligence officials signed a letter in October 2020, right before the election. Right before the election. 50 former intelligence officials signed a letter in October 2020 warning that the Hunter Biden laptop emails released by the New York Post bore the classic earmarks of a Russian, and it was back then they were saying disinformation, of a Russian information operation. In January 2025, President Donald Trump signed an executive order revoking the security clearances of these officials, including James Clapper, Michael Hayden, Leon Panetta, John Brennan, accusing them of coordinating with the Biden campaign to discredit the report. Trump claimed the signatories willfully weaponized the gravitas of the intelligence community to manipulate the political process, while the officials maintained their actions were not politically motivated, but intended to warn the public of potential foreign interference. Guys, the intelligence agencies are picking sides like everybody else. They literally handed Biden the election. They literally handed Biden the election when they said that the laptop was disinformation, which discredited everything that came off the laptop. And then we found out that it wasn't. But by then, we realized we had elected the big guy. We realized that, the big guy is in office now. I promise you, if they wouldn't have spoke up on that laptop situation, Joe Biden would have never become president. Because every American would have said, hey, this guy's corrupt as hell. His son is corrupt. They found a laptop with damning information on it. Damning information that proved that our cognitively malfunctioning president, Joe Biden, was literally peddling influence to foreign agents and using that to make money. He was literally receiving kickbacks from foreign entities for giving them American taxpayer dollars. And to keep that from causing Biden to lose his presidential bid, intelligence agencies, former intelligence agency leaders went on the record, jeopardized their credibility, basically forfeited all their credibility by saying, oh, what you found on the laptop looks like Russian disinformation. This looks like something that Russia put into Hunter Biden's personal laptop. How does someone put something into your personal laptop that is sitting at a computer shop? That's probably not even connected to the internet because he doesn't want anything fishy to happen. Like, why are we doing it? Why are we acting like, oh no, intelligence agencies don't do nothing wrong? Intelligence agencies withhold information from the president all the time. Have intelligence agencies ever withheld information from the president? Yes, U.S. intelligence agencies have historically withheld significant information from sitting presidents, despite the president's theoretical authority to access all classified material. Do you guys remember JFK? Do you remember the grassy knoll? Do you remember what the intelligence agencies do to presidents who get out of line? Oh, that stuff only applies when the guy you want in office is in office, huh? We're literally going to believe intelligence agencies like the CIA, the guys who the CIA dumped drugs in our community. They're bad. The FBI, they went after Martin Luther King and they assassinated him and Malcolm X. But now, if those corrupt intelligence agencies go at Trump, oh, now they can be trusted. Ain't that about nothing? If they go at Trump, they can be trusted. But when they go after Martin Luther King and JFK and Malcolm X, they're bad. They're bad if they're killing the people you like, but they're good if they're going after the people you don't like. No, I just think they're bad in general. I think they're bad in general. And I think Trump is the first president in a very long time who had the balls to stand up against him, to stand up to him. But he needs the support of the people. Hey, my brother, thank you for contributing again. Look who the Democrats have trying to replace the guy in Maine who was running for office. Oh my God. Who's replacing Graham Plattner? Graham Plattner replacement. Damn, 600 delegate convention. Lord have mercy. Is it Troy Jackson or Dan Kleben? Tell me the name so I can look him up. Tell me his name so I can look him up because I know he's trash. Tell me the name. I don't. Who are the Democrats trying to replace Graham Plattner with? What is this? No aid to Israel and no support for Islamic/Muslim indoctrination. That's happening in the USA. Muslims have already taken Yemen, Europe, and Canada. No Sharia law. New York City, watch out. I mean, I see nothing wrong with that. I see nothing wrong with that. I can say no military support for Israel and no support for Muslim indoctrination. I'm okay with that. I'm totally fine with that, especially since we did all this fighting in Iran. They shouldn't need anything else from us. Yes, 100%, Jim. Trump is going after the deep state. The CIA is a part of the deep state. The FBI is a part of the deep state. Of course, they're going to try to deny. They had a group of 5 at a debate last night. You'll know right now. Oh, my God. I'm going to watch that debate I'm gonna watch that debate and cover it. I'm gonna do it in a VOD, a short form video. Hey, thank you for becoming a member, guys. Consider membership. Consider contributing to the stream. You guys know we're almost at 10 $5 super chats. So if you're in a position to do so, you will help us reach our goal of 10 super chats of $5 or more. But that's pretty much it. I'm trying to give y'all a good morning show. So I don't want to if you guys are going to be here with me in the morning, I don't want to bore you guys. I want you guys to be excited about what's going on. I saw some mess today. You know, sometimes I like to get messy. I saw some mess today that I thought about covering. It was funny. Ooh. Ha! Did you guys see this thing? Do you guys know that game where these dudes? I see the clips from the Poor Man's Podcast, bro. It's funny as hell. I see his clips come up, and he's always talking about equal opportunity and equal rights against men and women, equal rights for men and women. And bro, there's this sport where usually it's two men who are running into each other, trying to knock each other over. What is it called? I don't know what it's called. Hold on, let me ask Gemini. It's not working. Whatever. What is the sport called where the two guys ram into each other? No, not sumo, but thank you. What is it called? A 6-foot dude in a dress? No. I gotta cover that later. Oh my God. Not in a dress. Not the Transformer. Damn. The Democrats are sick, bro. They are sick. Guys, y'all, I got a lot of dudes in here. What's the name of that sport where the two guys run into each other? Oh, Run It Straight. It's called Run It Straight or Run Nation Championship. Okay, so a lady, dude looks like a lady. That song popped in my head when you said bro had a dress. So this lady challenges this guy to this sport, right? And oh my God, Becky, look at her butt. No. So this lady, as a sign of solidarity with women everywhere, goes up against this guy, right? And I want to get me out the way so y'all can see what happens. This was sad. This was crazy. Check this out. Damn.
3, 2, 1, run it!
Dude. And for a second, I was like, yo, this is a tough ass lady. This lady is strong as hell because she was on her feet. Look at this, right? You can look at it on TV. At first, I was like, yo, this lady is strong as hell. And then this chick just passed out. How you knocked out on your feet and fall face first? She looked like she got hit by Tyson. Look at this.
3, 2, 1, run it!
She's dead, bro.
Like, I don't think you got,
bro. Hey, exactly. She just said the same thing I was thinking. He didn't even look like you ran into her that hard. Bro cooked her shit out. Woo. And she wasn't no little chick. She wasn't no salad eating chick, bro. She looked pretty big. Hey, she looked like she might be able to beat up the average dude. Bro cooked, man. He turned her TV off Like Kendrick Lamar said. That's what it means when they say turn your TV on.
3, 2, 1, run it!
Jesus Christ. She was slow as molasses too.
Like, I don't think you guys understand. I've seen these rugby head-to-head hit videos, and number one, I'll say that no woman should ever be involved in that type of environment or that type of sport. Never. It just shouldn't happen. But number two, these guys are shaving years off of their lives for just sheer entertainment value. They're getting paid in gum. They're getting paid in injuries.
He sound like a little dude. They're taking years off their life. Bro, running into another man don't take no years off your life. Trust me. Now, if you getting traumatic brain injuries, yeah. But if you hit with your shoulder like you supposed to, which is what she tried to do, you'll be all right. I played football for many years. My speech is not slurred. You know, I could say Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. I could, I was literally doing like tongue exercises the other day, and no homo. But you can look that up on like AI and stuff, and they'll tell you like phrases and terms that you could say. But I played football many years, and as long as you ain't trying to weaponize your head against people, you'll be all right. So I don't know about that, but she tried to lower her shoulder and use it on bro. It's just that when she did, the force of the impact and bro's body severed her damn shoulder from her neck, and she passed out. She flopping like Caitlin Clark. My wife said she should have got lower. Stop. She tried. She got her ass cooked. Hey, are you guys interested in this Nolan Wells situation at all? Because I was thinking about covering that again this evening. There's some developments in that, but it's looking like a classic case of just race baiting. They're trying to make it racial. It's not looking like it's race related. So it's looking like his parents wasted their damn money. Are you guys interested in that? What is my audience interested in? Y'all, I know y'all ain't interested in texting. I mean, into commenting on here. But the dude in the dress, you lying. That's funny. Hold on, let me see. I don't see. Oh, shit. Hey, I was about to say, bro, I don't see nobody in the dress. Then I saw him. Biggest. Jesus Christ. No. Not big Yank. This dude is big as hell. Hold on. Okay. Do they have highlights from this joint? Because I gotta hear it talk. Yo. Okay, we gonna cover this right now. Cause my member, he a member now. He from the hood now. So we definitely yeah, and if you're a member, any request, man, I'm honoring it. Straight up. Gratitude. We covering this big heifer. Look at this. What do I call him? Do I call him a he? Bro, look at this dude in the corner. I know a woman who looks like this dude, though. I know a woman who's an actual woman. I've trained jiu-jitsu with her, and my thigh rubbed up against her stuff, and she's an actual woman. She, because I do jiu-jitsu, and this lady's like a world champion. I know a woman who actually looked like bro, though. He should hang around her if you want to pass. I'm trying to find a picture of her in a dress, but I don't think one exists. You saw a picture of Gabby in a dress? Oh, here she go. Yo. Here she go right here. This girl does Brazilian jiu-jitsu. She's actually a woman, though. Her name's Gabby Garcia. I didn't lightly assault her. My freaking thigh rubbed up against her junk while we were doing jiu-jitsu, so I know she's a woman. How's that assault? That happens. Stupid. Just because, ew, girls are nasty. That's you, one of those. You're one of those, dude. Jesus Christ. This is another picture of her. So if bro hung around with her, bro might be able to pass. Bro might be able to pass if he hang around Gabby. But she looks a little more feminine when she loses weight. It's just when she's huge. But if he hang around her, but yeah, so let's look at this dude. So this dude is over in the corner looking like Gabby in that big ass dress. So the moderator asked him, why are you qualified to be a Maine senator? And I'm sure their answers are going to be excellent.
Let's start with how well you are known or not known to the voters. I think it's fair to say that there are varying degrees of recognition you have, but for certainly two of you candidates, 99% of people in Maine had never heard of you 48 hours ago, maybe 6 or 7 minutes ago. So let me start with you, Lizzie Dickerson.
Sure.
What qualifications do you have to serve in what is not an entry-level? What is an entry-level job? What is an extremely important job in the United States?
Well, I actually have a master's of business administration degree. I am a finance person as well. There is a lot of education I have on board in this department. I'm pretty good at reading budgets. I'm actually a town manager. I have been a town manager, and I can say that I've lowered people's taxes while also raising salaries and benefits. So there's there's one thing, but no, it's true. I mean, but I think the reason I'm doing this is because people have become disenfranchised. They feel like everyday people can't have access to their own government. The qualification for running for office doesn't really involve pretty fancy things. It involves being a citizen. As you know, you've probably read the Constitution and the laws. People feel like they just can't do that because there's so much money in government. They can't run. They'd never stand a prayer of a chance. And so that's why I've done it.
Dan Cleveland.
Yeah, well, I am not a career politician. I've spent the last 20 years starting a business out of my garage, raising twins. I've grown my business from me and my brother to now over 100 employees. We provide a living wage. We cover 100% of their health insurance premiums. We provide for their retirement, and we've given millions of dollars back into our community to help preserve this wonderful state that we live in. In addition to that, I've served on numerous nonprofit boards. I'm on the board of the University of Southern Maine, my alma mater. And I've also served as the leader of the Maine Brewers Guild, helping small businesses grow small businesses here in Maine and revolutionize the beer industry in this state. And I went on to serve as the chair of our National Brewers Association, representing the interests of over 9,000 small businesses across this country, and making sure that small businesses had a seat at the table against the large multinational brewers. So people know Dan Cleveland in Maine. And so I think people are sick and tired of career politicians, and I'd look to go down to DC and bring that kind of unique experience, which is sorely lacking.
Ashley Webb, what qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate?
Oh, I ran for office several times. Didn't win, but I did run. And then I'm a songwriter, and then I write my own books. And then I suppose my transparency, I wouldn't lie to the people, and I wouldn't deceive the people like we're being deceived right now. Like, we get
I want to make my own movies, and I want to write my own movies, and I want to make my own songs that I play in the movie. He's given the energy of that one chick on Coming to America who just wants to do everything. But I'll tell you right now, the first two, I like both of them. I like Cleveland way better because he's actually a business owner, and he sounds like he earns his money. But let's be real, all of these people, including this deranged lunatic, they're all more qualified than Graham Plattner was. His only platform was, I'm going to give everybody everything free. universal health care. Yeah. But notice how once you get rid of you cut off the head of the snake of lunacy, notice how normal people come to run. People who actually have accomplishments. What has Graham Plattner ever accomplished? Absolutely nothing. But he was winning by a wide margin because Democrats are voting for nothing but weird. And I wouldn't be surprised if this guy is in the lead at the end of this debate. He might be a little too weird. But for the Democrats, you just have to be weird and passable. That's all they get. You got to be weird and passable. If this guy came with his haircut in a regular in men's clothes and got up there saying, we need affordable health care and this and that, and health care is a human right. And if he came saying that, they'll be voting for him because these people want extremist. They want extreme in every category. They don't want Cleveland. Cleveland sounds too much like a regular guy. Or this lady. She looked like a damn librarian.
I did smoke and mirrors, like what was going on with ICE, pretending like these victims did something wrong. Like that's unacceptable.
He's in the lead.
And I suppose the biggest thing is like I'm just an angry citizen now, and if I got elected, I'd be an angry senator, and I think that would probably be their worst nightmare.
He's
David Costello.
Like Dan, I haven't held elective office, but I have, as I mentioned earlier, I've held senior level positions for over 27 years, actually. I was a top aide to Maine Secretary of State. I was a top aide to the mayor of Baltimore. I was a top aide to the mayor of Baltimore when he became governor. I also served as a country program manager for USAID and a country team leader for USAID, OTI, in countries like Cambodia, Kosovo, Bosnia, Haiti.
Why would you want a guy who helped failed mayors in failed areas and served as one of the heads of USAID, where they were giving billions of your taxpayer dollars to random causes in unknown third world cesspools? Why would you want to make him a senator in your state? These people, the only person who sounds even remotely close to being qualified is Cleveland. The rest of these people are just shills. They're idiots.
I also helped to run the state's Department of the Environment in Maryland. So I've got over 27 years of senior level hands-on government experience. I believe I have the most experience of any of the candidates in this race for the United States Senate.
Yeah, experience at doing the wrong thing.
Managed, instead of just talking about or legislating about public policy, I've actually managed complex multi-million-dollar operations and programs, not only in the United States, but as I've said, abroad. So I think that kind of perspective, as well as having grown up in a working class family with a single mother, widowed at 28, I think that kind of lived experience is one that's missing in Congress. And I think I could bring that kind of governing experience as well as lived experience. And that's why I believe I've got the most experience of the candidates and would provide the greatest contrast with Senator Collins, who has very little hands-on government experience.
Mm-hmm. Wait.
Yeah.
That statement needs to be called on.
Sure.
You just said Senator Collins.
Come on, man. This guy is dumb as hell. He just said that Susan Collins has very little government experience. What are you talking about? She's literally run for governor. She literally ran for governor. So how does she have very little political experience? She's literally the senator right now. This guy's an idiot. But these people just say anything. They're trying to appeal to the weirdos in the stands and the people who don't do research. Let's at least listen to the moderator try to check them.
Has very little hands-on
Senator
experience.
Collins, I'm talking about the
That statement needs to be called on.
Sure.
You just said Senator Collins has very little hands-on
Senator
experience.
Collins, I'm talking about the kind of hands-on, get your hands dirty, managing programs and operations, governmental programs. As you know, a legislator will talk a lot about programs, will talk a lot about legislation, but they've never fully managed the kind of operations and programs that I believe I have. And that's the kind of contrast I'm talking about.
Okay.
He sounds like a fool. What up, 3-man?
Hi, my name's Tammy. I like to run for, the reason why I'm running for senator because I'm a great songwriter. Not only I write songs, but I got good fashion senses. And
What's
yeah.
the dude name off of The Simpsons? What's Homer Simpson's best friend? Barney? Is his name Barney?
Barney, Mo,
Bo, the one who always drunk.
I think it is Barney.
That's how bro look. Hey, that's how bro look, man.
Yo, bro, he looked like he used to follow Grateful Dead and shit.
Barney Gumble.
No.
That's his name.
Barney Gumble.
That's how bro look. Bro look dead like Barney Gumble.
Bro, this nigga looked like he had a bad LSD trip. Boy,
Tier 1 gear. We over here looking at this. This nigga said, because I write songs. Let's listen to what he said one more time. Why?
Hey, Brandon.
What?
I lost my shit when you played that part, bro. I lost everything, bro. I didn't know if you could see me in the back.
I saw you
in the backstage. So I was like, oh, that's why he muted my ass just in case.
I look, Will Sasso. Damn. Wasn't Will Sasso on Mad TV? Hey, bro. Wait, let's listen to his part again when they asked him. They asked this man in address, why are you qualified to be a Maine senator? Listen to what she said.
I did run, and then I ran for office.
Experience with working.
Ashley Webb, what qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate?
I ran for office several times. Didn't win, but I did run. And then I'm a songwriter, and then I write my own books. And then I suppose my transparency, I wouldn't lie to the people, and I wouldn't deceive the people like we're being deceived right now. Like, we get lied to, smoke and mirrors, like what's going on with ICE. Pretending like these victims did something wrong. Like, that's unacceptable.
I'm done.
And I suppose the biggest thing is, like, I'm just an angry citizen now. And if I got elected, I'd be an angry senator. And I think that would probably be their worst nightmare.
David Costello.
Nobody even knew what to say after that. They're just like, this is cringe as hell. How did this person get on stage? That's my question. How did they get to this point?
Participation trophy, bro. That's basically what it is.
Ashley Webb.
That's the person's name.
Yes.
Like, dude, at what point it's like, all right, it's at a point to where when are we going to start saying, yo, this is really a mental illness, bro? This is like a mental illness, bro. Like, for real. Like, we wouldn't make fun of, like, we wouldn't put people who are suffering from Down syndrome or mentally disabled, we wouldn't put them out there in the forefront and making them seem like, yeah, you can do it. We wouldn't do that. That would be basically bullying. And this is basically what this shit is starting to seem like. It's bullying, but in reverse. Like, you're telling them, yeah, you could do this, you could be this. And I'm like, over here, I'm like, no, absolutely not.
So you're saying they can't be whatever they want to be?
I feel like I identify as a 42-year-old white man with a 401k that's doing great at this moment. The lie detector that is a lie. I am a 38 overweight black man whose Roth IRA is doing okay, but not great.
This dude writes his own books and then makes his own movies. And he writes his own songs for the movies. And he's an angry citizen.
What books? Could you pull the books up, bro, for
I'm
the
not
audience,
pulling that
bro?
shit up. No, hell no. I don't even,
all right.
man, I'll probably get my shit flagged. There'll probably some weird, it'll probably be weird, man. This
All right, hey, at least play one song, bro. Play one song.
No, bro, he probably got that shit copywritten. You know, weird people always think they shit is valuable.
or I think homie might be the new songwriter for the Democrats, because their protesting chants have been cast ever since USAID, so he probably could have been the one that was like, we're fighting for the climate, we shall not be moved.
Hey man, I'm a part of the climate. Like my daughter says, she's like, I'm part of the environment. People like, we gotta save the environment. Well, I'm part of the environment, so I need to be able to use my stuff.
Yeah, like hook a brother up with like a couple of $1,000, since I want to be social.
This is just a joke. This is a joke, man. The Democrat Party has become a joke, man. And people still are there. Look, it's like saying this. I know that the other option is absolutely trash, but Trump. And at a certain point, but Trump is no longer a viable excuse for voting for people shouldn't be anywhere near our political apparatus. Like, dude, you got this chick with a dress, this dude with a dress on. And he should be main senator because he writes his own songs. This is stupid. But go ahead and make your last point.
Dude.
I'm about to head out. I gotta go somewhere. You love calling in at the very end.
Well, you love putting the StreamYard link up at the very end, don't you?
What? I thought I put it in earlier. I'll be challenging.
So Brandon, you said you said I like be challenging people. So Brandon, it's like this, man. We can say this as the Democrat Party, what they're doing now is a joke, but honestly, this shit should scare the hell out of you. This shit should scare every last citizen.
Facts.
Because of the fact that if they're this crazy, imagine what they will do when they get actual real power. Imagine what they will do if they have control of the House, the Senate, the electoral office, and the judicial. Oh my God. Oh my God. I will be fucking terrified. Yes.
Here's the thing. I'm not even scared about the Democrats getting control of those things. What scares me is if they gain, it's about how they get control of it. Because if they gain control by pandering to the progressive fanatic wing of their party, in order to maintain control, they will have to, capitulate on many issues to that fanatic wing of the party. That's the problem. What if the Democrats get power? Once they get power, how much are they willing to do to hurt this country to maintain power? Because if the progressives help you get elected, you're going to be beholden to them when it comes time, to basically make decisions about what's best for this country. And, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, they're so spineless that I believe they will destroy this country in an effort to hold on to power. And it's so crazy because it's like, do what we say while we figure out a way to replace you. And that's what the Democrat Socialists of America are doing to the Democrat Party. We don't like you. We hate you. but because we represent a significant portion of your voters, you have to play ball with us. But we're only playing ball with you until we have the ability to get rid of you. It's crazy to me how they let themselves be put in that position.
Well, what they're doing, they already doing that now. See, that what you said would have made sense in 2020. No, they're past that. They're past that. They're at the point to where, look at all the past. Let me see the past. You had 50 Democratic socialists having beaten incumbent Democrat senators in House of Republicans. Or was it just House Republicans? I think it was just House Republicans. Yeah. They have literally beat the incumbents, bro. And so they're already taken over the Democratic Party. It's just a slow burn. So pretty much I say this time in 2028, the socialists, it's going to be, well, right now they're completely masked off. In 2028, they're going in full throttle. Do you know who, like on polls right now, do you know who's leading the presidential race?
On their
for
side?
the Democrats?
On
Yeah,
their
on the
side?
Democrats, yeah.
AOC.
Yeah, AOC. So AOC, she has been a mask-off socialist for years.
I hope she gets
The
nominated.
former head of the DNC was a socialist. The reason why he lost his seat is because he was coming after Democratic incumbents. So whenever the next election
You
happens,
talk about David Hogg?
David Hogg, yep, great name, David Hogg. And so I guarantee you, next time, probably before 2028, the Democrats going to do the nominate a new DNC chairman. He's going to win. He's going to win unanimously. And so what you're seeing is right now I don't think, in my opinion, I hope not, the Democrats don't win in 2028. Because for me, to have a better Republican Party, you got to have a better Democratic Party. To have a better Democratic Party, you got to have a better Republican Party. You can't have like two of each own coins got to fix one another. And so if the Democrats literally do what I know that they're going to do, and if they win, I'm talking about power and all that shit, the Republicans will never win another election, bro, because they already told you what they're going to do. They're going to pack the Supreme Court. Not only are they going to pack the Supreme Court, they're going to give 15 million illegal immigrants mass amnesty.
But you know what? I think they need to have a supermajority to pack the Supreme Court. To change to let me see. We can look it up right now.
Now, if they end the filibuster,
I think they need to have a supermajority to do that too.
No, not take away the filibuster. That's all they got to do.
Hold on, let me see. Can a simple
Because if I remember correctly, there's no limit of how many Supreme Court justices you can have on there. Is there?
Yeah, there's a limit, I think. I don't know. Let me see.
Because I know O'Rourke said he's retiring, and Clarence Thomas, he should go ahead and retire, have Trump replace them too. And Amy Coney Barrett, oh my God, she has been such a disappointment. But also, she should retire too, because it clearly shows that she's been emotionally manipulated by all of her votes.
Who? You said she's been eliminated?
No. Barrett, Coney Barrett. She should be replaced because clearly she's emotionally incompetent to do this job as Supreme Court justice.
Man, I hate that lady. I hate Amy.
Yeah, people got mad at me when I said, wait till I find out she's a actual Democrat. And they was just like, no, she's a far right Republican. I was like, no, she's a Democrat. She's a Democrat. And you know who do you know who advised Trump for her to become court justice?
Who?
Mitch McConnell.
Wow.
Mitch. Yeah, that was his pick.
Tricky Mitch.
A lot of the people that Trump had in his first administration was Mitch McConnell's pick. And can we just be honest with you? As much good Trump first administration looked, like, let's just be real, like you had, like, I made a lot of money on the Trump administration. First term, I made a lot of money, bro. Like, brother was swimming in money. And he did all of that with the best numbers of our lives, and he only had a third of his cabinet filled. Did you ever find the information?
Yeah. They can end everything on a simple majority. They can end everything with a simple majority. And it's saying that and when I was asking AI, it's saying that the Democrats are highly likely to attempt eliminating the legislative filibuster if they regain control of the Senate, as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and numerous caucus members have explicitly stated this is necessary to pass priorities like codifying abortion rights and restoring the Voting Rights Act. With the retirement of filibuster opponents, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, Democrat leaders claim they now possess the 51 votes required to change Senate rules via simple majority. I don't know, man. It's weird. I still like, a lot of stuff is going on, but I'm one of those people who's like, I still don't see a reason to vote Democrat. It's like, if you're mad because things are bad, you're gonna react to that by making things worse. That would be absolutely crazy to me. But
Dog.
hey, people do what they do.
Hey, the Democrats, and that's one thing I have respect for the Democrats, in which I lose respect for the Republicans. At least the Democrats are going to make the attempt to do what they said they're going to do. Like, literally, what's his name? John Thune?
Yeah.
Yeah, he deserved to be primary. Not only he deserves to be primary, but he should never be involved in politics. And go get a fucking lobbying job in Washington. Do that. Because you ain't cut out for this, buddy, especially on the Republican side. But one thing that really ticks me off, and the reason why I hate considering myself a Republican, is the fact that Democrats, they are strong. They are strong when it comes to their marketing. They are strong when it comes into beliefs. But when it comes to Republicans, literally, they're weak at their own beliefs. See, the Democrats have no problem doing the same things to the Republicans, but the Republicans will turn the other cheek.
But see, you got to think of it like the Democrats say the same thing about their party that you saying about the Republican Party. They're like, the Democrat Party is too weak, because I live in California, so I hear this shit all the time. They're just thinking like, the Democrats are too weak. They never do this. They never do that. And then the Republicans are like, our party is too weak. It's like both. It's like two ends of this, two sides of the same coin. All of the like really like committed party members feel like their party is too weak and doesn't do enough. And it's like with the Democrats, I just say, what marketing? They have no good ideas. They couldn't even tell you a policy. Democrats are like, Democrats are using universal health care as their talking point for getting majority in the House and the Senate. And they're saying we need the majority in the Senate and the House so that we can codify abortion rights and restore the Voting Rights Act. Bro, they have no policy ideas for anything that's relevant. They're still trying to convince people that, oh my God, we're living in the 1960s in the middle of the civil rights movement, and people aren't buying it anymore. So in order for me to really have respect for the Democrat Party, I'm going to need them to come with some better messaging. This universal health care is not happening no time soon. I proved it on my show when I had, what's that boy named? Carville. What's his name? Jake Carville? James Carville. And the other guy, Al Hilton or Hinton or whatever. They're Democrats. They're literally Democrat strategists and advisors. And both of them were like, we ain't ready for universal health care. They were like, people in America still want to keep their health care. They don't want to get single payer. So the moderate Democrats, the normal Democrats, they're not buying the universal health care shit. And so they're trying to keep them with the Voters' Rights Act and abortion rights, right? And the progressives, that's the universal health care is what they're using to bring the progressives on board. But I think even a moderate Democrat is scared of a progressive taking over.
Well, those are the ones that are saying that the Democratic Party is weak. It's the progressives. I barely hear a regular, like a moderate Democrat really saying that the Democrat Party is weak. I've only heard the progressives, the quote unquote communists, socialists saying that the Democrat Party is weak. And so, but wouldn't that, like I said earlier, wouldn't that scare you though? They have no policies. They really only have 2 policies to run on. Maybe 3 in a possible, most at the possible. But they're still marketing well enough to get people to vote for them, which is terrifying in my book, because at least as much as the opposite side want to disagree with Donald Trump, but at least he had policies, man. Donald Trump was spitting policies. That's what he did. That's the only thing he did was spitting policies, bro. Every single time he had a rally, every single time he had a speech, policies. We need to deport the illegal criminal immigrants out of the country. Yeah. And so it's just when it comes to everything else outside of MAGA and Donald Trump, in my opinion, that's the reason why I'm like, once Donald Trump retires, I feel MAGA is going to split up and create their own third party. In my book.
I don't know.
Because
I have no idea. I think MAGA is going to be like the Tea Party. They'll be a thing and then they'll just assimilate back into the main Republican Party.
Nah, MAGA is here to stay, bro. The reason why MAGA is here to stay, bro, you're talking about people were MAGA. Like I was MAGA before it was even cool or even acceptable to consider yourself to be MAGA.
Right.
Like literally, when I was MAGA, when people was, oh, you believe in that? Well, we're gonna threaten you with violence. And I'm like over here, bring it on. Come on. Do it. Come on. Do it, damn it. I've been waiting for this all year long. Come on, bro. Bring it on. All my life I had to fight.
But 3-Man, man, thank you for coming up. I appreciate you hopping up, man. I do.
Appreciate you having me up, man. And your moderators need to get on their jobs in your chat too, bro.
Shit, I don't even think my moderators are here, bro. The people who are my moderators don't be
shit.
watching.
If you can make me a moderator, I'll help out moderate if you ever need
I'll
help
make
out
you a mod.
moderating.
I'll make you a mod for sure.
Yeah, because you have some dudes coming there saying some outlandish stuff. I'm like, bro.
They do that on purpose. They do that on purpose, bro.
Yeah, man. But you have a blessed day and enjoy. Hopefully you come on live later on today, man. So I can laugh at more of this shit.
I might go live later, maybe.
Oh man, dude, I would love to bring you on the show one of these days, bro. But yeah, man, you have
Oh,
a
for
great
sure.
day. Enjoy your time with the chilling, with your chilling and old lady.
All right. Thank you, my man.
Yes, sir. Peace, brother.
Peace. Thank all y'all for watching. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. It was a good show. See me tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll be back for Friday. What is it? Today's Friday. Oh, shoot. We might go 8 on Saturday. Y'all gonna be asleep though. But I might do 8:30 on Saturday. We'll see. Thank y'all for watching us. I appreciate everything you do for me in this channel. Till the next time, peace.